I went to California where I trained at 7 different gyms, where I got beat up by a world champion, tried to humble a cocky wrestler, met an old foe, and the focus for today's video, I did a dojo storm. Let's see how it went. For my dojo storm, I went to Subconscious Jiu Jitsu in Hollywood, owned by Professor Brent Burniston. He's a 3rd degree black belt and thankfully wasn't there to stop me. My plan to take over this gym was to roll with everybody and beat all of them, but they had something worse for me. I was set up for 12 different rounds, having to go against all the belt colors and with no breaks. Naturally, of course, they set me up with The Rock's little brown belt brother for my first round. Now I understood I was going through the gauntlet, but nobody told me how long it was going to last, and I don't quite have that Johnny Sins cardio just yet. Mr. Brown Belt starts out by giving me tons of space, so I go into the Elon Musk guard. And if you've ever watched a video with me before, it shouldn't surprise you that I'm using an overhook over the foot. That's because I'm a 2-trick pony. If it's not the guillotine, it's going to be the ankle guillotine. But I first have to move his weight around so I can start to take some pressure off of his foot and I can spin into the lock. He helps me out by falling to his shoulder, and he's about to get spangled once I can push his hand off of me and create some space. I start by pushing onto the shoulder while a white belt tries to save him from near doom, then I go belly down and get the tap. Now that's not too bad of a start for the gauntlet, but next I have a huge purple belt. You'll see in Yeski I use this cross lapel all the time to keep them away from me like a single mother's restraining order. This lapel gives me the time to either extend them or pull them in depending on what battle I want to take. I attempted to use the butterfly guard to get underneath him, but he has a strong base and is staying far back and uses the weave pass, so I go back to the cross lapel to pull his weight off of me, and I'm trying to go for my foot fetish attacks. But thanks to his recent Brazilian butt lift, he has way too much weight back there and I have to go to a new game plan. Since he had too much power for me in that direction, I instead worked up to my knees, hit him with my own knee pick, and it was time to get my own pressure going. Never been a huge fan of missionary, so I pop up to one foot and move past his knee and throw the arm over his head. Putting the arm over the head allows me to go to a guillotine if something goes wrong, but instead I decide just to pass the guard by moving around him, shoving the head by similar to an armbar attack. And right before I fall off for a knee bar, I gotta show him that ass mount that I love to use, and when everything is looking good for me, I ran out of time. Round 3 is against a punk named Ryan, who I've already dealt with in the past and who you'll be seeing in a future video because he had a lot of trash talk to say about me. Mullet Man comes charging in, showing off some slick blue belt knowledge of getting nothing done attempting to pass my guard. Then I use a familiar technique of grabbing the cross lapel and throwing him by to go underneath and attempting to scoot in for his feet, but instead he just gives me the sweep. I'm pinning his leg down while keeping that same cross lapel, but he's going to be a little bit sneaky on his own, looking for single leg X guard and attempting to scoop up my heel. Since Ryan's a blue belt, however, I have time to itch my nose and do anything I really want when he's attempting this foot lock, because nothing's going to happen here. I do the standard defense of clearing the bottom foot so I can step over for the ankle lock, but Ryan's not just a blue belt, he's also a wrestler, so he attempts to go to the dogfight, and this is how it turns out. Now while Ryan couldn't get redemption, let's see if this purple belt has what it takes to take me out of the gauntlet. At this point I was starting to get in trouble. I knew the black belt was coming up soon, and the pizza that was sitting in my stomach was trying to come out. Nonetheless, I had to carry on. And I really need to say this to you guys, but if someone is abusing your lapel like I've been to everybody so far, you need to strip the grip. Fundamental jiu-jitsu knowledge is not letting another man control you, and if I can attack your lapel and move your neck around, I can do whatever I want to you. And from here I use the lapel to create enough space so I can get my leg free, and then I lock up the guillotine. I'm sitting in a pretty strong spot, but he has a good grip over my leg and he's going to try and pass into side control, but the chin strap keeps me safe. Once I can get above his neck, I can easily fall into a guillotine, which you too can learn about in my upcoming course coming very soon. This gauntlet round wasn't quite over just yet, so I had enough time to keep working my game. We already saw that this cross lapel is great for pulling them down, but you don't need to hit the guillotine. Once I can free my legs, I backstep around him to go for his back and attempt a quick armbar, but he quickly brings his arm underneath my leg, protecting him for now. I can sense he's rotating out, so I keep strong control over his shoulder, but once he goes towards the turtle, I enter Fast and Furious mode, spin all the way around him, and I end up back on top. And before I could show him the daddy pressure, the round comes to an end. At this point, I'm just a few rounds away from facing a black belt and completing my dojo storm as Subconscious. But I first have to beat this blue belt before my IBS beats me, and I'm going to do that with pressure passing. You'll see I'm spending good time with my right arm around his back and I'm sprawling out on his legs. You'll also notice that my pants are coming down because I guess I never figured out how to tie my shoes. I'm shoving my head into his chin while throwing a lot of my weight on top of him, and he's trying to lock up into a Kimura. I can easily beat this by pushing off on his ribs, and then I shift my hips, and this gives me the opportunity to start pummeling with my feet to pass his guard. But because he keeps his leg extended, I use this as an opportunity to go right into mount, and I give him some black belt no-gi magic. Not wanting to be a victim of my antics that I love to do while rolling, he starts to escape mount by turning out to the side and shrimping. I notice we're really close to another group, so I just get up and let him have top position again. Now he attempts to step past my reverse de la Hiva, so this is an easy leg entry for me, and I take this opportunity to force 50-50. From here I can start standing up, and I carefully don't blow out his knee by throwing my hips forward. Then I start by using a drop pass, but he catches the bottom of my legs instead of going for guard, which was a weird adjustment, but it actually ended up working. I did the same thing as before by first foot pummeling, then I jumped to the other side and I started to take his back. Then he rolled over and gave me dope mount, and the round came to an end. At this point, yeah, I'm pretty tired. And it certainly didn't help that the big purple boy was coming back for round 2, sensing that I was weak. And last time I ran out of time before I could hit him with a knee bar, but things are going to be different this time around. I was going to submit him. Now I actually have some pretty fantastic grips having the cross lapel and sleeve, and you might even think I actually participate in Yeski, to which I show you this. And if you're not learning this lesson yet, what I do with the cross lapel is again, control their posture. I yank him down so I can get on top of him, free my legs, and now I'm working towards his back. Didn't even have to fall for a guillotine and I could start working guard passing right away, but the cross lapel is broken if you know how to use it. I started posturing up and he decided to throw me into deep half, which was the move of the day. But defending deep half is like second nature to me at this point, so I decide I'm going to hit a back step and start attacking a leg. I'm looking for the same knee bar as earlier since I can't do a heel hook in the gi, but he spins with me and again he's putting that butt weight on the mat right away, making it tough for me to pull at his leg. To avoid reaping, I keep my feet high on the hip while getting a grip similar to a heel hook without attacking it. But this is all a master setup to my second trick pony move, the ankle guillotine, where he fights it off for a little bit by pushing against me, but once I'm belly down, it's too late. Ryan comes in for his second round. I do this awkward thing where I rotate back and forth, trying to tell myself I'm not tired. Gets awkwardly destroyed by the cross lapel where I throw him by into a quick knee bar for an easy tap. Then it's time for the big moment. The black belt comes at me, and I'm tired. But it's not a successful storm if I cannot tap a black belt. But check this out. Another man has fallen victim to the power and grip of my left hand from having too much time to myself, and now he's going to be facing a new problem. He's trying to pass my half guard, but my frames are too strong and he's sitting on his knees. He's only going to make pressure if he can get off of his knees and start planting on his foot, which is the exact opportunity that I strike. I threw his lapel to the side once his balance shifted, got underneath his legs, and I was starting to work on a quick leg lock. I needed to use my left foot to push away his ribs so I had enough force to keep him off of me. I turned him over and separated the feet, then I gave him a quick toe hold. And just like that, my dojo storm was complete. At least for now. I still had to deal with this cocky wrestler, but overall, I had a great time in Subconscious, and I hope everybody understands this was just a video for fun. What else could be fun is if you could gear from xmartial.com, because the only way to get great rash guards is if you wear their clothing. I recently rolled with the owner of xmartial.com and will soon be giving away free rash guards, but before that happens, go to xmartial.com, use promo code Tyler10, and get yourself some sweet gear.